Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. You are on the award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with King Konrad DeLong right there. Don Armstrong here, filling in for Mr. Mars at the controls of Zoom and all that other stuff is our chief engineer and all-round good guy, David Ainsley. Over there in the corner, which you can't see, is Jeff Zekin. So we're all here for you today. And let's hope that the third time is the charm, because joining us now, again, is hopefully Mr. Jack Beckman, Fast Jack Beckman, NHRA funny car driver. Jack, you there?
I was going to mess with you guys, but I can't do it. Thank goodness for small miracle time.
Oh, my God.
That was great. That was great.
You guys sent me a private message that said, I'll be right with you. I wrote back, I'm not even moving. I've tried this in my truck in the parking lot of my daughter's hockey game. I've tried this on my phone. I've tried this on a different computer. I'm not changing anything.
Don't touch it. Isn't that what they say? Don't touch it.
So we love your background of all the Wallies. That's
just wallpaper.
That's Wally Walled.
Wally wallpaper. I like it. So 33 career wins. Funny car, 31, sportsman class. He's got a couple of there.
Hold on, guys. That was as of 2 weeks ago. You could add one to that total.
That's right.
The U.S. Nationals, congratulations.
That would be his second U.S. Nationals trophy over Labor Day weekend. Congratulations. Man, we were pulling for you all the way, and, once again, you pulled it off. We love Jack Beckman, and we also love, and actually this was 3 weeks ago that I watched an episode of Hot Rod History with Fast Jack Beckman, a quarter mile at a time on NHRA.com. Dude, you have a second career just waiting for you as soon as you get out of the cockpit to get on TV and do a TV show all your own, at least a 30-minute-a-week series.
Well, if you guys could figure out how to make money, my wife would be all ears. And trust me, I didn't run out of magazines. A buddy of mine gave me his whole collection of drag news, which ran from 1955 to 1978. And this was before NHRA had their own paper, National Dragster. And really, before drag news, the only place you were going to read about drag racing would have been Hot Rod magazine. And I had all my dad's old hot rods dating back. The first one he ever got was my grandpa bought it for him off a newsstand while they were on vacation in Florida. They are from Maryland, and it's August of 1950. And I still have that magazine today. And then he started subscribing in March of 51. So I've got them all. They've been in boxes and they've been in my attic, and I never looked at them because they were old and I just really didn't know what they were going to teach me, and I didn't want to damage them. And as I started through this journey, I recognized I can't start at 1955. And I went and I got all my dad's magazines down, and this has led down a rabbit hole where I've been to 3 legends, friends, whatever you want to call them. I've got some wonderful acquaintances and buddies in drag racing, and I've emptied out their whole collections. And my wife is so thrilled every time I bring the Ram truck back in the garage, loaded to the top of the bed with stuff, and start the whole process of, you got to inventory everything. Then you got to put it chronologically. Then I got to take out the spares. Then I box everything up. So anyway, I did 10 episodes, and I went from basically the beginning, which is 49, 50, up through 59, and I have researched and scripted 1960, and then I ran out of ambition and motivation. So as soon as I find that, I'm going to go back out in the garage and film.
Well, I have to tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed and had completely forgotten about a fellow drag racer, and this goes back to my era. Obviously, I'm older than you. I saw a pic of you with the fabulous Doug Thorley that was taken in 2017, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that name in forever.
Doug was 88 at that time. And at the US Nationals, the pros are pitted on the right side of the track, and a lot of the sportsmen and all the nostalgia stuff and the legends are on the other side. So I had ridden the scooter over there, and a buddy of mine had recreated Doug's Corvair. And I said, man, you think there's any way you get Doug to stop by our pits? So he shows up there the next day, and our car's up on the jack stands in the pits. And 88, he climbed right on in the car, didn't need any help getting out of there. And to me, I mean, obviously winning the US Nationals for drag racers, that's the thing that's climbing Mount Everest, right? But to me, since I'm such a historian, it's all these moments with the legends and the people that, well, when I was 7 years old and went to my first drag race in 73 at Orange County, these were already icons of the sport. So the fact I could rub shoulders with them I mean, there's a lot of things that I've done beyond my wildest dreams. I'm a pretty lucky guy.
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, the series that you're doing, that you did with quarter mile at a time, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I would imagine that there's got to be some talk somewhere on Motor Trend TV that we're going to get Jack Beckman his own 30 minutes actual series or docu-series, or maybe even a Netflix. We'll just go with that. How's that?
Well, they can get a hold of my agent. That's the same one that sets up these computer meetings and missed the mark both times last time. You know, it's ironic you say that, because this is the last year of our sponsorship with the Chandler family. And these 6 years are running the Infinite Hero Foundation on the side of the car. And mind you, all the funding was picked up by Terry and Doug Chandler. We raised money for Infinite Hero, and we've raised well over $750,000. And we've literally changed injured veterans' lives, and I've got to spend time with a lot of those folks. And again, beyond my wildest dreams. But reality sets in. We don't have funding for next year. It's September. We're in the middle of COVID. We don't know what the schedule is going to look like for next year. If there was ever a worst year ever to try to sell a sponsorship package for a race car, this one's it. So I likely will be going back to a regular job next year. And I quit the elevator trade in 1998 to go teach full-time at the Frank Hawley Drag Racing School. And that's always been a safety net for me. So I'm facing the very real possibility of going back to a 8-to-5 job next year. And I'm not going to quit looking for sponsorship. And I feel like drag racing is, well, it's certainly where I would like to be. I'd like to think the sport would like to have me here too. But, you know, you have to be a grown-up sometimes. And I've got to provide for my family. We still got a mortgage, and I've still got 2 young kids. So you know, working for a living is something that I've always, in the back of my mind, thought I might have to go back to. And it looks like 2021, I'm going to do that.
Well, we're hoping that you land a good sponsorship for the future, but the Chandlers have been such a big part of your life over the last 6 years, and especially with Infinite Hero and stuff. And we really want to, thank you for your efforts of doing those things for our soldiers in need. I think it's been a pretty awesome program that you guys have put on.
Well, I've been in the same room with 8 Medal of Honor recipients. And if you want to think you're a badass, when you're in that room, the best you could be is 9th, right? I mean, it's just surrounded by the literal definition of heroes. And that word gets wildly overused in sports and in, public service. Those folks are all heroes. And kind of the de facto face of Infinite Hero over these last years has been Gary Linfoot, an Army helicopter pilot paralyzed in a crash on a combat mission. And he's pictured on the back door of our trailer. Well, in 2015, Infinite Hero sent a film crew out to Denver to document some things to help use as the fundraiser platform. And we made the final round there. They fire the car up. The body gets put down. I'm idling to pull up through the water. And it's where you kind of take that deep breath and try to get in the zone. And I look out the side window, and Gary's there in his wheelchair. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't lose. Like, the worst we could be is 2nd place today, and I've got that guy in my corner. And by the way, we did win that race.
Awesome. Well, what a tribute. What a tribute. And what emotion you got from Gary as well.
He, Gary's 6 foot, but since 2008, he's been 4'2" because he's been in a wheelchair, and Infinite Hero funded a exoskeleton for him. All the programs we do are programs that help out groups of veterans. The only solo endeavor we've done was this exosuit, because we recognized that doing something for an individual here would help out a multitude of people later. In other words, think of cell phones back in 1988. They were huge, they were inefficient, kind of like trying to get on a Zoom meeting in 2020. but, through a lot of funding and over the years, the product has gotten better and better and better. What's going to be the same thing with the exosuit. In fact, I think they're getting ready to release Gen 3 or 4, and a lot of that's based on the feedback they got from the Linfoot family. This is not RoboCop. You don't strap this thing on and jump over buildings. You strap it on and you walk at a half a mile an hour with somebody at your side to help you. So the fact that we could fund this, let them go out and make 250,000 steps on the thing, helped them make a better product for future users. And also at Bristol Motor Speedway several years ago, and that's the picture that's now on the back door of our trailer, Gary stood for the first time for the national anthem since he was paralyzed. And again, you want to talk about pinch me moments and where the enormity of the situation just hits you and never leaves you. To be a part of that was very gratifying.
Well, Jack, we want you to hang on for just a second here. We need to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you here momentarily. Hang in there.
Do you know what teens just love?
You may want
Not
to
being
slow
told
down.
what you're
There's
supposed
a
to
cop car
love.
up there.
That's not anyone's business but yours.
Hey man, there's
It doesn't
another
matter
cop.
what you love.
I'd think
but
about
if you
putting your
love-
seatbelt on if I were you. And if you could sober up in less than 5 seconds, that'd be cool too.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. Cops are enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids.
Welcome back to the In-Wheel Time Car Show, and we're talking with Fast Jack Beckman, NHRA funny car driver. Jack, what are you looking forward to down in Gainesville?
A race, because last time I went there in March, I didn't get to race. I flew out there a day early. I inducted Robert, or Bones Baylog, a AA gas supercharged driver from back in the day. I inducted him into the International Drag Race Hall of Fame, and I've done that for 7 people. Again, pinch me moments. As a fan, as a historian, to get a chance to do that's great. Then I show up at the track Friday, and they postponed the race. Then they scheduled it to June. Well, here we are in September, and I think this time it's really going to happen. So I'm excited for the East Coast and the Southern fans, because Gainesville's kind of like their Winter Nationals. That's the season opener, and they're not going to get that till September. And coming off a win in Indy, and we'd had some tune-up issues. We had to change 2 of our 6 clutch discs. You run out of inventory throughout the year. And it threw us for a loop at the race before the US Nationals. Now, typically, with a regular schedule, you'd get 4 qualifying runs. Well, because of the COVID deal, we're only getting 2. And the point I'm making is, normally, if we go out and run good on Friday and get the car qualified solidly, Saturday we'd put different parts on the car, like newer clutch discs, and see what they want for a tune-up. We didn't have that ability. So we actually had our only first-round loss of the year at the Indy 3 race. And fortunately, we rebounded strongly and at the perfect time to win the U.S. Nationals. So I feel like now we're getting right back into that tune-up window where we were at the beginning of the year. The other thing is, we collected win number 351 for Don Schumacher. The day before, and I know this gets confusing because there's been a lot of Indies this year, we lost in the final for the Indy 2 race, which was rain delayed, and our teammate Matt Hagan got Don his 350th win. Well, Gainesville, we could get 10 wins in a row for the DSR funny cars. And, to keep checking these milestones off is pretty cool. Obviously, we want to win. So, for the Infinite Hero Dodge Charger and for Pennzoil, for everybody that's on the side of our cars, you can't get enough winner circles. It's like these trophies here, guys. If somebody says, how many trophies do you have to any race car driver, they'll always say, 1 less than I want. You get thirsty for it and you want to go do it again. Well, now I'm kind of looking at the possibility that I have 5 more chances to do that. That's how many races are left scheduled this year. Again, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep looking for sponsorship. If something doesn't come up, maybe I'm looking for 2022. But you never know. You truly never know. So I am looking for 4 more win lights on Sunday and to stand there with you at the end of the day.
Jack, how is it in the funny car field without John Force in it?
Drag racing needs John Force. I mean, he's one of a kind. And I know we say that about a bunch of people. And John's not a 1 in a million guy, because if John was a 1 in a million guy, there'd be 330 people like him just in America. John is a 1 in $330 million. He's just that special of a human being. And Robert Heitz is tough a competitor as I've ever pulled up next to. And then Top Fuel with Austin Prock and Brittany, that's not only 2 more cars in each eliminator, it's 2 more tough cars in each eliminator. And when you win races, like if you say behind me of these trophies, which one means the most, the ones that tend to mean the most are the ones that you had to fight hardest for. So we definitely want the Force team back out there in the competition. And let's face it, if, let's call me a pitcher in baseball. And if you had a choice and you had a time machine, who would you most want to go up against and pitch against? And Babe Ruth would probably be the guy that most people would answer that with. And Force's drag racing's Babe Ruth.
Well, I know that he's certainly missed across the NHRA. Have any insight as to what in the world has happened with him and the team and John Force Racing?
Yeah, most of the issues with nitro racing are easily described. I believe it's a Latin word, and the word is money. And it's Latin for money. It's all about funding. These cars burn a tremendous amount of parts and resources. And I'm surmising with Force it's contracts due to COVID. You don't think John Force at any point in his career would say, you know what, we could save a lot of money if we just skipped a few races. So I'm sure it's a funding deal for the long term, and you have to respect his decision to park his cars. Because, I mean, as hard as that's going to be for me, if I've got to sit out a year, imagine if you're that guy and you're a 16-time champ and you're responsible for this empire and 3 other drivers, and you need to park your car. So, I doubt I'm going to be out there in 2021. I hope for the sake of the sport, the 4 John Force racing cars do make it back out.
Jack, I have to ask you this. If somebody came up to you and said, I don't have a fuel car for you, but I do have a pro stock car for you, would you consider going to pro stock?
If it was competitive. I've always been a dragster guy. In fact, my first nitro ride in 2005 for 12 races was a Top Fuel car, and I thought I'd made it. I just finished chemotherapy the year before after some pretty intense cancer, and I thought that this was my dream come true. And in 2006, I was back to driving a sportsman car, and I thought that was it. That's all God gave me was 12 races in a nitro car, and that was just fine. And then the phone rang, and it was Don Schumacher, and he didn't have a dragster, but he had a funny car. And God, has that been wonderful for me. I mean, I never imagined I'd be this successful in drag racing, and because of that, I'm falling in love with funny cars. Now, if a ride was available in a Top Fuel car next year, I'd jump on that in a hot minute. I would love to go back in a Top Fuel car and have a chance to join that club of people who have won national events in both. But if it was a pro stock or another ride and it was a competitive car that could win races, I'd take that.
Well, when you make the comparison between funny car and Top Fuel, is one, for lack of a better phrase from somebody who's never done either, is one easier to drive than the other?
So a Top Fuel car would be a Ferrari at 200 miles an hour on the Autobahn. If you want to make any steering input, you better whisper on that steering wheel and don't be late doing it. A funny car is a Winnebago with a flat front tire in an 80-mile-an-hour crosswind. Everything you want with the steering wheel, and you better.
What a great analogy.
A funny car is a Top Fuel car is not easier to drive than a funny car. A funny car can be more difficult to drive than a Top Fuel car because of the minimized visibility, because the injector's in front of you, the shorter wheelbase, They're more dynamic if they drop a cylinder out there, and the steering input's just totally different.
Plus, when something goes wrong, it's all in front of you.
Yes, yes, and thank goodness for good safety equipment. I've tested mine many times.
Yeah.
Jack, we certainly appreciate you taking the time out of your day out there in California to join us today, and thanks so much. Sorry for all the problems that we've had in the past, but it's been well worth the wait to have you as a guest today on our show, and we hope to see you here in Houston in just a few weeks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I am so looking forward. No knock on Indy. I love Indy, but I am so looking forward to running in front of fans in stands at other racetracks. I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks again, Jack. Jack Beckman. He is with the Don Schumacher team, funny car driver, and a great guy. We've got more of the In Wheel Time Car Show coming up right after a quick break. As soon as I press the right buttons.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show on this Saturday. We sure appreciate you joining us. It's time now for Konrad's Car Clinic. I don't want to get off track here as we run out of time, so you just go for the car clinic. What's in it today?
Well, it's all about torque. You know, most people when they drive a truck, they talk about how much torque their truck has. You know, and the old saying is people talk horsepower, but they buy for torque. Torque is the twisting force of moving a vehicle forward. Horsepower is the power once you get up in the RPM range to keep you moving forward. But that launch of your vehicle from a dead stop, that's all about how much torque your vehicle puts out. You know, the pistons in an engine push up and down, spin the crankshaft and rotate the crankshaft, which in turn goes through the transmission, the drive shaft, through the differential to the axles and the tires and push you forward. So again, you know, you're going to gravitate, especially when you're dragging a lot of weight, towing something, you're going to gravitate to something that has a lot of torque in it because that's the working force of an engine. You know, diesel engines have generally always had more torque, but they operate at lower RPMs. And Ram truck was the first one to release 1,000 foot-pound of torque on a production vehicle back in 2019. But if we kind of go through history, let's do a little history lesson on some of the torque values of vehicles that were out there. You know, Don always talks about his 1969 Z28 302 with the DZ block 302 engine. That engine put out 290 foot-pounds of torque. The 1970 Chevy LT1 put out 380 foot-pounds of torque. My favorite, the W30 Oldsmobile, put out 500 foot-pounds of torque. So they all put out a level that's nice. A 1970 Hemi put out 490 foot-pounds of torque. And then as you get into today's gasoline engines, you're talking about the 2009 5.7 Hemi puts out 410. The Corvette ZR1 of 2013, 604 foot-pounds of torque. The 2015 Hellcat, 650 foot-pounds of torque. Even the EcoBoost in my Ford Transit puts out 470 foot-pounds of torque out of a V6. So again, torque is the force that moves the vehicle forward or launches it. But when you look at diesel engines, the progression of power and torque available in a diesel engine has been pretty fast and furious. In 89, they were putting out about 400 foot-pounds. In 2001, about 500 foot-pounds. In 2004, about 650 foot-pounds. In 2013, they were putting out 850 foot-pounds of torque. So when you look at some of these diesel trucks, the Cummins, Duramax, and Power Stroke trucks, they keep on adding more and more torque to those engines because people are trying to do more and more with it. And then you get up to the 2018 with about 900 foot-pounds of torque, and then 2019 Ram released one with 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know where the top of this is going to stop in production vehicles, but I would think 1,000 foot-pounds of torque should be pretty close to it, but I imagine they're going to keep on advancing as each manufacturer wants to offer a step above who the other guy was until we get up to the numbers that we're at right now.
How can you add torque?
You're going to add torque by adding, changing compression ratios, by changing the stroke of the piston, the length the piston moves up and down.
So longer stroke?
Longer stroke should give you more torque because that's a longer force down on the piston. Changing the amount of fuel that's going in and out of the engine and the amount of air. So you're looking at, where do they get this 1,000 pounds of torque? It's the boost. The boost has climbed up in that Cummins engine over the years, as well as the fuel management system's gotten that much better.
More compression, longer stroke.
And more fuel and more air. Engines and air pump. Air in, air out, add fuel, make the bang.
Got it. Thank you.
So, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
1,000
is unbelievable.
I don't think you could stop that with your hand.
I don't think you could stop that with a 3-story building, to be honest with you.
I know. Well, it's quite impressive. All right, a couple of stories making automotive news headlines this week. Safety driver operating an Uber self-driving test vehicle that struck and killed a pedestrian in March 2018 has been charged with negligent homicide. Grand jury returned the charge against Rafael Stewart Vasquez, 46, in late August, officials with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office said on Tuesday. Vasquez pled not guilty during an initial court appearance. Vasquez was released and will wear an ankle monitor. Crash investigators found Vasquez was watching The Voice on a cell phone at the time of the crash, the first fatal collision in which autonomous driving test technology was involved. The Uber self-driving technology failed to detect the victim. The NTSB last fall said the probable cause of the crash was that Vasquez did not adequately monitor the road and the operation of the vehicle. Further, the crash investigation agency said Uber's inadequate safety culture contributed to the deadly crash. Yikes.
Well, Ford announced a plan on Thursday to build a new extension of the plant to build an electric version of the F-150 at the Rouge River Assembly Plant in Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah, I've been to that plant, and it's quite impressive. Nissan unwrapped the next generation Z sports car this past week, confirming the rejuvenation of the iconic nameplate with a retro-style prototype that stays true to the original Z car from a half-century ago, but adds plenty of updates for today's modern driver. Look for that. Proto Z. It's just a prototype, but it's coming. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's got the rear quarters of it looks very much like the old 240Z. Pretty cool.
And the rest of the news this week has really all been about EVs, electric vehicles. Kia launch its first dedicated electric vehicle next year as part of a new 7-model EV-only lineup and will roll out across several segments through 2027. So we've got that coming up. And General Motors said it plans to produce an interchangeable family of electric vehicle drive systems and motors, boosting manufacturing efficiencies as it transitions to a fully electric lineup.
That's that skateboard. They put different bodies on top of it. Toyota revealed plans to produce their hydrogen fuel cell pickup trucks. And that hydrogen fuel cell pickup truck will generate as a generator enough power for concerts and festivals and disaster-stricken areas for up to 3 days.
Well, that is it for this episode of In Wheel Time, the car show. When you're on Facebook, please give us a like and tell your friends about us. You'll get Konrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time car show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts happen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict, among others. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer sitting right there. It's David Ainsley. Our voice, our video and marketing chieftain is Jeffrey Zekin. He's off camera over there. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by Sid Caesar. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars, his royalty king Konrad DeLong, Don Armstrong saying so long for now. And we hope you'll join us again next week on our newly expanded live show each and every Saturday beginning at 9:30 a.m., 9:30 to noon. That's our new hours right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Thanks for being part of the In Wheel Time family. We really appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. Mask up, wash those nasty hands, and stay sanitary. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at Prince's Hamburger Joint at Sharpstown Golf Course for Chrome and Coffee, 9 to noon. So long for now.